Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to another action figure review. And before I get started, I'm gonna start this by saying, trying to make this video has probably been the most unluckiest I've ever been. My phone just stopped recording multiple times. I had to delete a lot of crap off my phone. People have been calling me in the middle of trying to make this, causing the video to stop recording. You know, it's been stressful, and I don't know why I'm trying so hard to just push on through to make this video. I know no one's going to see it. But anyways, like I said, welcome back to another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at Mattel's Walgreens exclusive DC Multiverse Bizarro. If I'm correct, this is one of Mattel's last DC Multiverse figures, and it was put into Walgreens, which I kind of don't get and kind of do get, as Bizarro is a fan favorite character. I figured they would have just made him a standard release, but I do kind of get it because Bizarro is pretty much a quick change for Superman. But as you can see, Bizarro comes with quite a bit of stuff and a cloth cape, and he's packaged in backwards. Like, this is just the standard way of packaging. That's amazing. We've got some Silver Age artwork of Bizarro here, and it's on both sides. And before I continue on, I want to say I don't really know a lot about Bizarro, but from what I do know, I absolutely love him. And on the back, here up top, we've got another picture of him yet again with his character bio. It reads, "A superhero in his own mind, even the opposite-speaking Bizarro must protect his secret identity." Then it just says that in a couple other languages. Then here it says Tales of Bizarro World. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Bizarro. Here's, I believe, a CG render or prototype of him. I know that because these forearms are different from what comes on the figures. And which is alias, El Cal. Abilities, superhuman strength, flight, freeze vision, and flame breath. Then it just says his abilities in other languages. And I almost forgot to mention, this shade of blue has spot varnishing everywhere except for the front part of the peg holder, but even on the back, even on the sides. Yeah. I'm going to pop him out and hope to God I get the recording done without any interruptions or problems. Okay, so here's the figure with everything. Spider-Man, what are you doing? Dude, I've been trying to record this for forever. I don't need you ruining it now. Spider-Man, you ass. Yeah, sorry about that, and I'm sorry about not taking that out. I've been trying to do this far too many times. I'm not about to let Spider-Man ruin what could be the final take. But anyway, yeah, here's Bizarro with everything he comes with. He comes with parts to give him his disguise, alternate hands or flight hands, his Bizarro #1 necklace, and since the cape is removable, I guess you could count that as an accessory too. But for 2 out of his 3, I guess you could say, costumes, the cape would stay on, because I consider this thing a costume change. Anyway, I'm going to take all the accessories aside and take a look at the figure itself and its articulation. Okay, so yeah, the figure overall, I think it looks great. Like, it uses a much simpler buck, especially when compared to the new McFarlane DC Multiverse toys, back from a simpler time when Mattel had the licensing rights to these toys, or figures, not toys. Toys are for little kids. I'm not a toy channel. I'm a collectible channel. Yeah, he's got a nice pale blue and palish red, which my phone's camera is actually saturating a bit. He's got the nice chalky skin, which is actually gray plastic with a much lighter bluish, whitish gray. What's the word? I can't remember the word, but it's put over top all of Bizarro's skin. Like, You can see it on his face and such. Like, his face and skin don't have any paint issues whatsoever. The only paint issue I do have, or at least care enough about, is that this boot right here, the lining on it is off-center. It's also a bit off-center on the S on his chest, but that's not so bad, and I don't know why my phone's camera keeps on going out of focus, but yeah. I've heard some complaints about the fact that he has the ring for his cloth cape. Not necessarily the problem being the cloth cape, but how it's attached. No, excuse me. But I kind of like it. It kind of gives him a All-Star Superman kind of look. Because, like, he's got the cape when it's on here, kind of going over the shoulders, and it's bunched up here. Like, I know All-Star Superman had a hood, but the bunching up there and over the shoulders gives him enough of an All-Star Superman look. But yeah. God, hold on. But yeah, like I was saying, he's got kind of an All-Star Superman look for a Bizarro. Like, and he's even got a reverse S on the back of his cape, which you already saw from the in-package shots. And from what I understand, he reuses, I believe, the Rebirth and Kingdom Come Superman parts. These forearms specifically coming from Rebirth Superman, and this crotch piece, or more specifically the belt, coming from Kingdom Come Superman. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to take the cape off so we can get into articulation. His neck looks that far down, that far up, so a little bit hindered. And he can go 360, but I'm not sure if it's just mine, but I would be careful there, as it does feel and sound like clear plastic that could break at any moment. He's got 360 at the shoulder, can go that far out, so actually let's see if we can't push it. So I'd say well over 90 degrees up, but that does kind of chew it up a bit, but not too bad. 360 at the bicep and a 90 degree at the elbow, which isn't too bad. It doesn't kill me that he's only got 90 degrees, and a swivel at the hands. You can kind of get them moved, but they kind of spring back in, even though this does kind of look like it could be used as a ball joint of sorts. But anyway, back to the figure. He's got a ab crunch that goes that far forward, that far back. So pretty good back. I'd say he could use a little bit more forward. A 360 at the waist. And my favorite part about this buck that I didn't like as much on the older DC Universe Classics or Multiverse Supermans, and specifically the one I have, which I'm a little annoyed because I can't find him right now, is the change to the thighs and waist, because the older figures had a more uglier, and even though it was kind of more functional, a way, it just didn't look as nice. But now it's the ball hips, so he can do perfect splits. He can go that far forward, not as far back, but I don't see that as too big of a problem. He has a 360 at the thigh and double jointed knees, which are kind of hindered by his muscles, but like I said, with the elbows, that's not too big of a deal for me. He's got a hinge at the toes, and if there's a swivel there, I kind of feel like it would break the foot if I did. So anyway, I'm gonna get his cape back on and then start getting into the accessories. Starting off with his hands, like I showed in articulation, they can just be easily popped off. This one doesn't want to come out. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Then we've got these optional open hands or flight hands. They're probably meant to be flight hands, but the packaging kind of curved his fingers more on his right hand than his left, but since it's Bizarro, I kind of don't see a problem with his flight hands being curved. He's kind of messier than Superman, which makes sense. Alright, next up I'm going to take his cape off just because I prefer how this looks underneath the cape. I'm going to put the Bizarro #1 necklace on, and then the cape back on. And yeah, this is a good look. It's a nice secondary option for him. And like all the choices to put him in costume wise, like it makes me wish that I picked up multiple, but then again I could only find one. Yeah, this is a nice classic look. It's what he's wearing on the packaging art, but I don't think I've ever actually seen any Silver Age artwork of Bizarro with this thing on. And again, I don't think I've ever even really seen any Silver Age artwork of Bizarro at all. But what artwork I do remember is in the early 2000s, Bizarro had a much more purplish hue to his costume. Like, the blue was a darker purple and the red was just straight up pure purple. He was very buff. He didn't have as much chalky skin. He did have the kind of shaggy hair, looked more spiked upwards, and he just had straight up white skin. And he was super buff, if I had already mentioned that. And he had the Bizarro #1 necklace, but it looked like it was just straight up a chunk of concrete out of the sidewalk. Yeah, I'm probably going to take all this off real quick so I can show how to put on his disguise. Okay, so starting off, we've got his tie, which is loose. Probably because Bizarro just learned how to tie a tie, and so it can go on the head easy. Like, this hole is like the perfect fit for his head. Next, I would angle his arms backwards and try to squeeze them inward if you can, which I can. Then put the jacket over. You know, it's got these little slots on each side, so it has better leeway. Just kind of work it down. And once you get it on there, it looks nice. And then lastly, the most important and most difficult piece to put on, the one that's gonna fool the world, the glasses. Now here we have, who is this man? What was, I know I was reviewing Bizarro, but I don't know who this is. I'm gonna look at the back of Bizarro's box. Ah, this is Bizarro. His alias, El Cal, I presume. A masterful disguise. The glasses really brings it to life. But anyway, I'm clearly joking. I think this is an awesome piece. I think this might be the first Bizarro figure to do this. I'm not too sure. I'm not too keen on Bizarro figures. But yeah, I like how the suit jacket, the suit jacket's got its arms torn off. You can kind of see holes and stuff around it. It's not buttoned up at all. He's got the loose tie, and to be completely honest, he'd probably keep the glasses up here, acting like they're sunglasses. And the back of the box does show him with the cape underneath, but I just feel the cape bunches everything up a little too much. But yeah, that's Bizarro with his necklace and his disguise. Now I'm going to put everything on him at once just to see what that look like real quick. So here's Bizarro with all his costume accessories on. It's doable, but it kind of doesn't, because it really bunches up around the neck, so it kind of makes him look like he's got a fat neck. And because since he's got all of this stuff, like the Bizarro necklace and the tie combined kind of just shoot the tie out, which I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't like. And in my personal opinion, I just don't like seeing the cape hanging out. Like, I understand it's part of the Bizarro like hasn't changed out of his costume at all, but I just think it doesn't look very good. But anyway, I'm just gonna get him back into a standard old Bizarro look. No Bizarro #1 necklace, no disguise or anything, and I'll compare him to a couple of my McFarlane DC Multiverse toy, or not toys, figures, and one of McFarlane's other things. Then I'll give my final thoughts on this guy. So here we have Bizarro with McFarlane's Rebirth Superman, which is pretty much just classic Superman. As the only big difference is these blue things, which aren't even painted. But yeah, McFarlane's toys are an inch taller, but I honestly think that this kind of fits kind of well. Yeah, Superman does have darker colors in his costume when compared to Bizarro, and when stood next to Bizarro, it actually shows just kind of how unsaturated his blue is. Like, it's not crazy unsaturated, but when compared to Superman, it's noticeable. Now, my ideal Superman would be slightly more saturated blue from compared to Bizarro, because the sky in person's maybe a tad too dark in the blue, but with this red on this body with Superman's skin tone and of course the proper S, and I don't know, maybe a cape like this, or maybe a cape like this but with the hood on it to make it like I mentioned earlier, All-Star Superman. On to the next. Here we have Bizarro next to the Hellbat suit, which I probably know even less about the Hellbat suit than Bizarro. But yeah, this thing is even bigger than Superman. It's even cooler, much more McFarlane style. But yeah. And then I'm going to be taking a look at Bizarro with one final guy. And since we were talking about McFarlane's figures, I figured why not finish it off with McFarlane's Spawn, or his Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. Hopefully it comes out with more super articulated Spawns in the future, aside from Mandarin Spawn and the Kickstarter one. But yeah, these two look pretty good together. Like, they totally don't fit mold or buck wise, because Spawn's got a very unique buck, he's got a very basic buck. So yeah, I'm gonna get everything everything that I want. No, that's not how to word it. I'm gonna get Bizarro back with all of his stuff, then give my final thoughts. So yeah, overall, I love this Bizarro. I'm kind of sad that he was one of Mattel's last figures, but I'm also really liking what McFarlane's putting out. If you can find him, I'd say pick him up. I don't know if Walgreens has still got him at all, but if they don't, last time I checked on eBay, which was like earlier today, he still actually got a pretty nice price. Still going for around $20, complete or incomplete, which I'd go for the complete one, but if you just like a basic Bizarro, you can go for that. Anyway, overall, thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button. If you didn't like what you saw, leave a dislike, leave a comment saying what you didn't like about it. And if you still want to see more of what I've got, please subscribe. Overall, I thank you for watching it again, and see you guys later.